Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. Today is Hump Day, Wednesday, June 15th, 2022. I am Saladu's sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. Hello, hello. Welcome, Heiko. You are number one today. Grid, you're number two, and Frankie, number three. Welcome, welcome. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Because I think I was talking to myself. Can you hear me now? Okay, so let me start over. All right, so what would you do if you had a child and the child was 2 years old? Okay, would you, and you found out that you know you have the wrong child? Would you happily give that child up and say, "I want my own child"? Um, or do you keep the child that you've raised for 2 years? What do you do if it's 10 years? If it's 10 years, do you say, I want my own child? Or do you still, say, no, I've been raising this other child. I'm their parent. They're my son or daughter. Does time make a difference? What do you do if that child, let's say, I'm gonna age the child a little bit more. Welcome back, Brina. Welcome. What do you do if the child is 18, 19, 20? They're an adult, and you find out for whatever reason the hospital made a mistake. Now, yeah, everyone's going to say, I'm going to sue, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But what about the children that are involved? What do you do? And when we, okay, Lou Rock says, I was definitely switched at birth. Okay. Um, and Heiko says that this is a hard question. Because like I said, we've heard the movies. I mean, we've seen the movies. We've heard, in the media that this does happen. But what if the child wants to come with you? What if the child that was switched wanted to come with you? Not because they were having a bad life where they were. I mean, their life was good. Maybe their life was even better than what you could provide. But what if they wanted to come with you because somewhere, how people say sometimes you just have this feeling that I don't belong here, whatever, that they're not my real parent, because I know that some people who have been adopted have said that, sometimes that they feel that that's not their family, before they're told that they're adopted. But what if that child that was switched, welcome, Shy Lady, what if that child that was switched wants to come home with you? Okay. And I'm not talking about a 2-year old who wants to come with you. I'm talking about, like I said, someone that's 10, 11, 12. Maybe they're 16. They want to come with you. But you're torn because you have this other child that you've been raising. What do you do? Do you willingly take a second child, even though you could have, that child could have other siblings by now? What do you do? Okay. Kids get attached very easily at younger ages. Lou Rock says you say that all the time. Okay. Do you guys now? Ni- do you guys now Nigerian switch boy called Hope? Do you guys know Nigerian switch boy called Hope? Is that what you're asking, Heiko? No, I'm not familiar with that one. Um, yeah, more kids. Kids are awesome. So, I mean, are you wrong to want to have your own biological child? Is that biological child wrong if they want to come with you? And what if the child that you're raising wants to leave you and go with their own parent? But that other parent is raising your child, but you know, they just want to keep things as is. And I'm gonna throw in something else. Should a court be the one to decide what you do? Is this something for a court to decide? Or is this where the court, you have to tell everyone this is not your business. This is between us. Stay away. Welcome, Petty Deb. And welcome, Alpha Mike. Shy Lady again. Welcome. So, what do you all do? So, let's see. I am good, Alpha Mike. I am good. I am good. And Alpha Mike says greetings to Shy Lady. Okay. Okay, Shy Lady, you're saying Hope. Are you referring to Heiko? Because I have not heard, if that's what you're asking, Heiko, about a Nigerian boy who was switched called Hope. I'm assuming that's what you're saying. I'm trying to figure out what you're saying here. Okay, so for me personally, If the child was young, like maybe 1 or 2, even though I've had them for, a year, 2 years, I think it would be easier for me to give that child up. I don't think I would want to give up the child that I was raising, but I definitely would want the child, my biological child. I would definitely want um, that biological child. So, I mean, and it's hard too, because what if you're, in a situation where uh you find out that your child was switched, but the person they were switched with, they don't live in your town anymore. They live across, you know, say 2,000 miles away, 5,000 miles away. What if they just got up and they just, went totally just someplace where, that you would never be able to see this person. So, Lou Rock, welcome. I see you're on my panel, but you won't pop up until you start speaking. This is what Podbean is doing to me now. So you're on my panel, Lou Rock. Are you there? Okay, no, you're not. Hi, I'm showing that you're on my panel. Okay, shy lady, are you here?
Hey, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, this is weird because Lou Rock, you are showing up saying that you're on my panel. Okay, shy lady. So, what do you think?
About the switch at birth situation.
Hmm.
Well, I would think that if it was me, it would probably be hard. And like you say too, if you started out with like an infant child, it may not be as hard once you found out that this child wasn't yours. Then and you see how the other person badly wants their child. I probably would be one to give that person a biologically belong. If that person is especially if it was an accident, I would want to place that child where they need to be. I've also seen shows that were made into movies that were based on real life where people found out that they were switched at birth and the mother didn't want to give that child back, even though that child was an adult. They still kind of felt bonded to the person who stole them. That's a very difficult thing.
Okay, but
I
you're
get,
okay. So you're talking about stealing versus it being an accident. That in the
yeah,
hospital they just accidentally. Okay,
yeah, because that has happened too. I know in real life.
right, right.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, but what? Okay, what if the child that was switched, and I'm not saying stolen. I'm because that was another question that I was going to ask later. But
Hmm.
what if the child that was switched by accident, they don't want to stay with you? They want to go to their biological mom and dad. Not saying that you were a bad parent or anything.
Hmm.
They just always felt that they just didn't quite belong in that
I would,
family.
I would, I would give them my blessings. My blessings. If that's where they want to be, you're more than welcome to go.
So
If that's going to make them happy.
no matter how old they were, if they were like six, we're not
Hmm.
talking about
Right.
2 or 3 year old. We're talking about a 16.
Right.
Okay,
If that's where they wanted to be, if they felt that strongly, I don't want to be the one to deny them their blood relative.
okay. Now, what would you do if the person who their biological relative wanted to keep your child, but they were willing to accept their biological one? What if the other person wanted to keep the child that they were raising? They wanted to keep your child.
If I wanted my biological child, I would fight them all the way to the Supreme Court.
But is that a court thing though?
It would
I
it
mean,
would have it
is
would
it?
have to be.
But I guess what I'm asking is, we're talking about something that happened by accident. We're
Hmm.
talking about something that, and let's just say the kids are older, where they have bonded. I mean, even at two, a child bonds. But again, I'm gonna go back to you're 10. You're 10 years old, and you find out, and I'll even say even more. You are 16. The child is 16, and you find out that your
Hmm.
child was switched. The other parent did not want to give this child up. And you're saying you're going to go fight. But what if your
Well,
child wants
I
to stay with at 16 now? They're 16. They're old enough to make a decision,
child.
but they want to stay. So so you would still, I mean, that's where I say, is that something that the court intervenes in?
If it like I said, if it was a will and a way, I would take it as far as I could. If I felt that strongly about having my child that was wrongfully taken from me, accidentally or not.
Okay, now Bart says it depends if the other family is okay, is rich or not. Um, Alpha Mike says hope they switch it out for a smart baby who makes millions. Okay, you guys. Okay, but but again, I'm putting the age on this child. Yes, they're still a minor. But what if this child does not want to go with you? They have lived with this other family for 16 years. Are you being selfish, Shiley?
If the child wanted to remain with that family, strongly, adamantly want to stay, then I wouldn't try to fight it if they wanted to stay.
Even though your other child, your biological child, wanted to stay too. They did not want to come with you because they have bonded with this family.
If that was the case and they felt that strongly, then they would have my blessings. If they didn't want to be with me, hey, that's on them. I've never been the kind of person, whether it's blood or whatever. If you don't find the value in me, whether I was in a relationship with someone, they have my blessings to move on.
Does it matter if the child wants to stay with the person who's raising them? Does age matter? Like a 10-year-old saying that they want to stay, as opposed to a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old who will soon be an adult in another year.
If it's a child that's 10 years old, that's pretty young. You don't really know if that child has a you don't know what's really going on in the household.
Well, I
You
mean,
might be
10, but 10 years old, a child can tell you, if something's going on.
well, typically, a child can tell you, but then again, you just never know. There's been situations where kids have been molested by cousins and friends of the
Sure.
family, and they've if you tell anybody, that's going to be the end of you or whatever. So you don't really know what's going on when kids are that young. They believe a lot of things.
Okay. All right. Now, Alpha Mike says I wouldn't call it selfish, and Bart says 16 isn't seen as an adult in the eyes of the law, so it would be a legal fight. I understand that, and I'm just playing both sides here. I understand that, but for something like this, and again, we're talking about something that was an accident. So yeah, I can see if you want to go after the hospital, whatever, you want to sue them or whatever. But on a personal level, is it really a legal fight? And is everyone happy? Because in the end, if I'm fighting in court for a child, and this child is, say, let's say they're 5, and I win my child back, and this child is with me every day. The child's crying. You can say, well, just give it time, give it time, give it time. And for some people, they just don't adjust. So how long are you going to continue to make this child miserable because you wanted to have a legal fight? And that's where I said, is it selfish? Now, on the other hand, and Shy Lady, I'm gonna have to put you on the spot again, because you're the only one that's on the panel. Um, what if the child was stolen? What if the child's stolen? The child knows that they were stolen, and you hear these stories all the time, where the child, a lot of times they don't find out until they're older, most likely an adult. Something happens, they go to get a job or something, and they don't have their social, or blood test, whatever. Or I'm sorry, not social. They don't have their birth certificate, to get a social, whatever. So what do you do then if this child finds out that they were stolen, but they want to remain, or they still have an allegiance to the person that took them, even though this person more than likely is going to go to jail, which usually happens, but you just can't seem to have a relationship with them as much as you want to? What do you do?
I'm gonna have to agree with Alpha Mike. I would fight for my kid. I would fight for my child. I would.
Okay, you're saying whether it's stolen or switched by accident.
Yeah, yeah. I went through the process of giving birth to this child, and I carried this child. Even if it's a father, that child's DNA is part of you and part of your family, your legacy. And I would fight for my child.
Okay, so even if the child, okay, first let me read what Alpha Mike says. Alpha Mike says, your child is your blood. You legally paid the hospital for their services, and they messed up with a switch. So you should fight for your kid. And he also says, your blood child is your family's lineage. Your genes get passed down. Okay, so again, I'm asking you guys. I don't care how old the child is. Now I'm asking, you're fighting for a child that does not want to be with you. And you get this child home, and either they're extremely unhappy when they're a younger child, they're extremely unhappy. They're an older child, not only are they unhappy, they're giving you attitude, whatever, and this continuously goes on. What do you do? Do you continue to try to placate this child, and say, hey, I understand, whatever, because do you really understand how they feel, because they are the ones that, I mean, your life has been um turned upside down, but we're talking about someone else who you are risking their happiness because
I
they're your blood. So are y'all understanding what I'm saying?
I do, and I
Okay.
and
Okay.
I would fight until this child became of legal age where they didn't want to be bothered anymore. I would not give up. Once they become legal age and they don't want to be bothered, then it's on them. But I
But
would do what
okay,
I
but
can
don't
while
you
they're a
wish? Okay,
minor.
but Shy Lady, but don't you think that that's kind of cold? And I'm saying it as, let's say this kid is 14, 15 years old. So you're going through the courts for 3 years, to fight, for this child, and um the child is in your home. You win. The child is in your home. But for 3 years, this child is just unhappy, and you know why they are unhappy. So you're saying, well, too bad. You're just going to be unhappy, and when you're 18, that's on you. You can leave. But what if you have other children and it's disrupting the household of everyone else? What do you do? I mean, can't you just say, okay, you can go back and live with this person, but can you please keep in touch? Can we see each other, on the weekends or something?
I would, like I said, once a child gets 18, they can pretty much do what they want to do.
But
They
so you are not looking at how they feel on an emotional level. You're not looking at their happiness, that they are just unhappy.
No, I'm not. I'm looking at the fact that I'm an adult in the situation, and I'm considering that as an adult, my brain has mentally matured. Once you're past age 25, your brain has, according to scientists, your brain has developed. You're 17, 18 years old. You don't have the cognitive reasoning that a 25-year-old, someone older, has yet. You don't have that yet. So I'll do what I can while I can, but I can't physically force the child to stay with me. I can't physically force the child to do anything. Once they become 18, they can come and go as they please. But I will try my hardest to raise that kid and offer whatever assistance or aid that I can
But you're
emotionally.
not offering them happiness. You're not giving them the happy. You're not. You're giving them. Yeah, they're going to school. You're buying this. You're telling them, I love you. You're saying you're saying all the right words, but they're unhappy, and they are unhappy, and you know why. So, and again, I say, if you're 16, 15, 16 years old, no, your brain is not, on the level of somebody who's 25, 35, 40. No, but they still have feelings. So again, I say, so you're just completely saying, you know, sorry, I don't care if you're unhappy, and I don't know why, but sorry, you are stuck with me.
Well, like I said, if I'm biologically the parent, whether they're happy or unhappy, that's the way. That's life. Everybody's not going to get what they want. That's life. Now, you can offer someone mental stimulation. You can give them words of wisdom. You can give them scriptures. It's not all just about making them happy. You can give them what they need to be successful. You can give them words of wisdom, not just making sure that they have something physical, monetary, or whatever, or even something emotionally, but you can give them words of wisdom that could possibly benefit them the rest of their life. But I would hate to be the one who that kid comes back later in life as a person 30 years old and said, why did you let me do this or that? I was only 16. I wasn't.
Okay, but that can go both ways. Okay,
Absolutely,
that kid could also
absolutely.
come back and say, thank you very much for letting me go back to the family that raised me, whatever, thank you. So
Mhm.
okay,
I
okay.
rather do my part as an adult and as a parent the right thing. I mean, I have a child now
But
that's just. Mhm.
no, I mean, I'm okay. Okay, so I'm just reading what Alpha Mike says. He says, "Then too bad. Then they eventually understand when they are older, and your job is." And then Bart says, your job as a parent is to set them up for success. They might hate you, but that's the job. I'm not talking about you're not letting them go to the prom. I'm not talking about you all are not buying them that car because all their other friends are driving at the age of 16. I'm talking about something in that a once in a million time would happen, where you're talking about you're removing a child. And again, I purposely am saying a child that is a teenager, because they know more about what they want than a child that is 5 6 7, whatever. So I'm saying that for a couple of years, this child is in your home. And again, I keep stressing this. They are unhappy. You see, they are unhappy. They go to school. You knew that when they were with this other mom and dad, they had great grades, everything. Now they're coming home. They're getting D's and F's, whatever. You know the reason why. But you're saying that it's my job as a parent, that you better just deal with it. You are risking the unhappiness, and probably, possibly, I'm just saying, the emotional well-being, because of what you want.
Let me say this, Solid. I'm gonna give you an example of a real life situation.
Okay.
My own child. My child just turned 18 last month, and at the age of 14, I would say 15, he wanted to change high schools for various reasons. I won't get into too long, but I felt he should have stayed at that high school. He had some issues with some people, and he wanted to go to private school. And fast forward a couple of years later, he's like, you know what? I think I should have stayed at that other school. I said, I tried to tell you.
But
And
Charlie, but you're not talking about changing schools. You're
no,
talking
but
about
it's a big decision. It's this was a major. High school is a big deal. You go back and look at things on your life later on, and you talk about high school. It might not be adoption, but it's kind of a big deal. It's a part of your life. Just like you talk, if you went to college or you remember elementary school years, it's still a big part of your life. You
Yeah, I
know,
got 4 kids, and they're all fucking
it.
doing that
I
right
mean,
now.
it
Literally.
is, and Caps, hold on, Caps.
Sorry.
I
Hello.
know you're there, and I am getting to you. I understand that. See, before I was doing this, I was trying to play both sides of the fence, but now y'all got me
I,
on the
I'm
side of the kid
I've
now.
got.
I'm
But
just going by. I was that parent that's saying, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be the one. I'm not going to be that parent who he tells me later, 10 years from now, Mom, I really want to be there. I really want to go to that school, and you wouldn't let me. I didn't want to be that parent. But in my heart of hearts, I knew that he was better off where he was.
But you're not talking
Better
about
off.
a school. You're not talking about school. You're talking about a child that was raised for 15 years with another parent, and they were extremely happy. They were happy that the home life
I
and
kind of.
everything is fine. Go ahead.
It's still in a child's mind. It's a big deal to them whether they're being raised by someone else or if they're going through something mentally.
Sounds like it's your mind, not theirs.
It's a big deal to them. And I was that parent who was like, I'm not gonna block. This kid's 15. I personally think this or that, as opposed to what he thinks. But it was a big deal. And later on in life, probably in 10 years or whatever, he's going to assess that. It's a part of his life he's going to remember. But I try to do the ring and I try to let him make decisions or whatever, in spite of me thinking that I think my knowledge is a little bit better than yours. So I still think that when someone is 15 years old, 16, I don't think that they have the wisdom, the knowledge, and understanding to really look at life the way an adult looks at it. Do we have all the answers,
And I'm
adults?
not
No,
and I'm
but
not I'm not saying, and I agree with you 100% on that level. But I'm just saying that you're taking a situation where someone was living for 15 years. They're living with this other person. That other person treated them well. Everything was going really, really well for them. Their grades were fine. Everything. All of a sudden, they come with you, and like I said, they're unhappy. So, and they're bringing home, their grades have fallen. They may start hanging out with the wrong person because they are unhappy. What do? You start yelling, screaming at them, saying, "You better get your grades up." Whatever. Again, your child's happiness. So a
I
lot
mean,
of parents say that, well, my child, as long as my child is happy, then, so does your child's happiness now count? Yes, they are your blood, but this 15, 16-year-old kid, that they are just, they're just unhappy, and the reason why.
well, I think that just off experience of raising kids, when you know a kid is vulnerable to maybe having some emotional or mental breakdowns and coming from a situation like an adoptive type of thing, you're very, very careful to select your words and your actions so that you don't drive that kid to the brink of suicide. You don't want to do that. So you have to be in a situation like that. You have to be very, very careful of your words and your actions because you don't want that kid to go there. You don't want that. So as a parent, I would try to fight for my kid to be with me. And if they were unhappy, we would go to therapy, we would go to counseling, we would try to work it out. But if it just doesn't work out and that kid feels like, I just can't do this, then when they're of age, 18 or whatever, when they can actually leave the home and I can't physically stop them, then they'll have my blessings to leave because they're 18. They can pretty much do what they want. But while they're a minor, I'll send them to therapy, whatever I can do to try and keep the child that's mine. That's just me.
Okay. All right, Caps, you have the mic, but before you do, I just want to just answer one thing for Alpha Mike. He says, "So okay." He's asking me, "So okay, what would you do in the situation and why?" Again, if that child was extremely unhappy, and I knew the reason why, and they come from like having straight A's or B's or whatever, and their grades are going down, things are just not going well, and you've been trying to deal with this 6 months, a year out, whatever, and all they talk about is this other family. They want to go back. That's all you hear. They're not making friends. Whatever. I would give that child up because I would ask them, can we at least, would you still have a relationship with me? Can we still, talk? Can you come over and spend the night, whatever. But looking at a child that is just so unhappy, and I know the reason why. Again, you're taking them from a family that they knew to another place that they don't, and they are just unhappy. That is what I would do. You can call me a bad parent, you can say, but I'm looking at how my child, how it's affecting them. And like Shy Lady says, nowadays kids, I don't want them to go to the point where I walk into their room one day and they've killed themselves or whatever. Even if I did have them talking to a counselor, and if that counselor was coming back and saying, Solid, you know what, this kid, they're not adjusting, they are just not doing it, you need to make a choice. My choice would be go back to the other family. That would be my choice. Caps.
Well, you completely, absolutely lost my train of thought completely, but
Sorry, I'm sorry,
I'll
Caps.
try and regain what I was trying to say. But I hope you're doing very well. Enough love and everyone into the fucking studio, so to speak. And like, so all right, so let's try and regain. So I don't really know, chill lady. I suppose, like, you had a problem, you had to give up your child or something or whatnot. I don't know. I don't want to judge you. I don't want to go on that level. But what I will say is that, like, a kid, if you talk about happiness, I could talk about happiness. Happiness is it's quite. People think, oh, you're going to be happy. Like, if you think that for the 0 to 14 to 15. I've got a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a fucking 8-year-old, almost 9. Now, like, and I've got no more, and I'm not having no bloody more. But the point is that, yeah, like, if someone can say to me, "Oh, have you done it?" Yeah, I've fucking done it. I'm doing it, and you learn every fucking day, as well as every year and every movement, and they grow too much. But the point that I'm thinking, and what I'm saying is, how can you just automatically say that, oh, a kid's got to be happy? I'm sorry, but no kid's going to be happy. Like, at the end of the day, when you tell a kid he's got to go to school, and when you tell a kid he's got to do and brush his teeth, and when you tell a kid he's got to do these things that I'm telling you to do, he is not going to fucking like it, is he? Come on. How can you always say that a kid's going to be happy? That is
Break, break,
stupid.
break caps, break caps. I'm not
No, but
talking
do you know
about
where I'm
brushing,
coming
but I'm
from?
not.
No, but
I
I'm
understand where you're
just
coming from, but I'm not talking
generally.
about brushing your
It's
teeth.
like, that's life. No, but I mean, generally in life, kids are kids. They moan about everything. Do you get where I'm coming from? They moan about everything. And that's when having a kid. Now, mine don't, because they've got used to the movement. They understand what they need to do in order for them not to get moaned at, you know? And this is all about progression and movement. And that's how you get happy, by learning how to be, and having a good solid person there for you, as a mother or a father or a figure or a guardian, whatever it is. That's what matters, don't you think? And this is the thing, like, my kids are everything to me, and I live for my kids. Like other people live for themselves, I live for my kids. I so I've always been, but I'll tell you straight, like at the end of the day, like you know, it's hard. It's not easy. No one's saying it's easy, but for you to say that your kids are always happy is completely oblivious to me because it's never going to be happy. But you're in the right home. You're warm. You're good. You got clothes on. And like, but some kids, when they've got everything, sometimes they get a little bit like spoiled, and then they think that they haven't got everything. Do you know where I'm coming from? So it's as a parent, you're learning all the time of how they, and then when they get older, again, it's another problem because you're learning again. Like we didn't get a rule book when we become a parent, you
No.
know. Nobody got. We learn as much as them little gits do, and we love them, and they're our creation. But we can't say that we know everything because we bloody don't. And all we can do is help them along the way and make sure that they've got ground under their feet. That is all we can do as a parent. And even not as a parent, whether you're biologically or anything, all it matters that you're there and you love them and you're there for them. And that, don't you think that that's what all of us are doing right now, is that we're there for each other and we're talking to each other and we care for each, this is the thing, you know. Honestly, man, it matters. But anyway, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Over.
Okay, so I mean, and I understand what you guys are saying. I am a parent. I only have one, and that one
It
was
don't matter
hard,
whether you got
at
one or
20,
10, you still go through exactly the same
right.
experience.
So and at 22 it is still hard, whatever. But again, I think that looking at the happiness of a child who you tell to brush their teeth, going to a different school, can I have the car? You're telling them not to date this girl or boy, whatever. I get that. That I totally get. That is like, I know best. But if you have a situation where the whole family may have to probably go and lay on someone's sofa, whatever. And if again, I say, if a counselor is coming back and they're just saying this kid is just not, they're they they're having a really hard time, they're having a really hard time, I don't, the only thing that I can suggest that you do is to have this child go back to the other family. And 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 you're like, and you keep pushing back, no, 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 and this kid, and you see it. So again, I'm not, and I understand, yes, as an adult, we usually know best what is best for our children. But for something like this, I'm just saying, happiness plays, to me, does play a part, because as Charlie said, you don't want them to, one day they're just so unhappy, then they get depressed, whatever, and the next thing you know, it's a suicide. Or they, you know as we were talking about yesterday, maybe somebody picks up, they're so unhappy that they pick up a gun and they shoot you. I mean, I'm just saying, because you don't know what this child's going to do, because you have not lived with this child for 15 years. So that's all I'm saying. Welcome, Tulian and Crucible. So, Shy Lady or Cap, so you want to come back and push back on me? And
Yeah,
Alpha
yeah,
Mike, and hold on, and Alpha
yeah.
Mike, you, again, you curse more than Caps, but if you want to take the mic, you're fine. Okay, Caps, go ahead.
But again, like say if are you talking about like if a kid goes to one family to another? Yeah.
Well, wait. Yes, and Bart says, "I think we are overlooking the prompt.
Yeah,
Didn't this
I
kid
want to
just
get to
come to
I
live?"
want to get to the proper. Like, I want to understand fully what you mean by that. Like, is it like because the kid was maltreated and he
No,
had to
no,
be
no, no,
taken
no,
away?
no. When I say switched at birth, I mean that Now, I'm not talking about a child that was stolen. I'm talking about, for whatever reason, the hospital made
But
a
you still
mistake.
love the child, no?
Oh
Answer the
yes,
switch about.
yes, yes.
But yeah, ultimately, you would still love the child just like it's your own. If you didn't know that until a certain time, I don't think you would change any movement because you just
well,
still
that's
have a
well,
bond. You know,
well.
when my missus, my last child, I've got to be honest. Like my last child, um, she she didn't want the baby on her because she just didn't, and she said, "You do it," and I was like, "Cool." And as I've clipped the umbilical cord and whatnot, and then I've gone skin to skin contact, and I've got to be honest, like that kid does not fucking go away from me.
Well,
He's like, you know, like it's called in animals, it's called like what's it called in animals? It's called something. It's a print, isn't it? You know, they lay the print on you, and
I'm
like, do
not
you
sure
understand
what
where
you're
I'm coming from?
referring to.
No,
I'm not sure.
someone must know. Imprinting, yeah, imprinting. He imprinted on me like completely, and like he's like all about me fully, and he did. And with all my kids, I love all my kids, but that kid, like, he's like, instead of a mama's boy, he's a daddy's boy, and he's 8, 9 years old. But I'm going on about my child, but it's because I'm a dad and I fucking love my kids, and that's the only reason I breathe and wake up, man. And yeah, and you know, for anyone to like to have a child or to have anything, and you think you're always going to keep them happy, you're pissing in the wind.
Again, I'm not talking. Again,
Just saying.
that's not what I'm talking about. I am
Mm,
saying that your child was
yeah.
switched at birth, and let's say I'm using the example now where a child is older. They're 15 years old. You find out when they're 15 years old that this child was switched. So I'm recapping for anyone
Okay,
else who
okay.
came
So
in.
if it was switched, I
Wait,
would
caps,
still have
wait,
the
caps,
same. I still
wait,
have the
caps.
same,
Hold
respectfully.
on. So
Okay.
again, that you find out when this child is 14, 15 years old that they were switched, and they come from a nice home, or they were growing up in a nice home. No one's trying to hurt anyone, whatever. Um, uh, and this child really wants to stay where they are, and you go to court, you do whatever. This child is now living with you, and this child is unhappy. That's what I'm talking about. So that's that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, now, like, if you can, I reply to that. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. No, no. Sorry, I don't mean to butt in all the time. I do apologize. But yeah, man. Like again, like at the end of the day, like for knowing someone and growing, and this is the whole point. Like you don't have to be biological to be there, you know. And if you've been there, I am biologically, all four of my kids are mine, you know. Same woman, just to let you know. But like at the end of the day, you know, that's rare sometimes in this day and age, isn't it? You know, to have like four kids with the same woman. You know? Yeah. And they haven't actually got any problems. Not that, you know, that's another show. Would you want to abort a child because it's got a problem and you knew early on that it had a problem?
That's another show, caps.
That's a brilliant. Yeah, I was just giving you a hint because that's a really good question because I've had four
That's
and I was
I
shitting myself every 3 months when them little bastards were growing.
with
That
no
bad belly,
with
you know.
all the abortion talk that is out there. I do have a show
Mm.
for that. I just haven't gotten
Well,
around to
we
doing it.
got
But
to do that. Well,
that
that's I should have
that
emailed you that.
is
I'm sorry. I'm
okay.
sorry.
That is a different show. But
Yeah.
shy lady, so you want to push back on me some more, so I can push back on you some more, and we go push
Yeah.
back on each
Well,
other.
I have, as you may have, I don't know, but I have seen situations where the switch at birth actually happens, and in most cases that I've read or seen on TV, people interview, most of the time the person, once they find out, the kid who finds out that they've been switched at birth, they're usually welcoming to find out who their biological family is. I haven't seen many cases where and they could be happy in that adoptive home, but I haven't seen many cases where they absolutely do not want to have anything to do with um, the other family. I
Wait,
have
you
seen
wait, you're saying
cases,
the other when you say the other family, the
the
biological family?
biological family, the
Well, well,
biological
well,
family.
you have Kimberly. Kimberly, her last name started with an S. Back in the 70s, her father fought tooth and nail for her, and she got back home, and she did not want to be with her father, and they had issues and problems, all the way up for like five years until finally he said, go back, because she just was not, they just did not get along.
Well, like I said, I agree
I
with
have to look
if
her
a
up.
child is just unhappy living with that person they find out that's biologically um, related to them. Once they become of age, and if they're so unhappy, then they can go back to that person. But I would at least try to say, can we try to stay in touch? Can we see, maybe get together, have a lunch or something? I would still
That's what
try
I
to
said.
fight,
That is what I
but
said.
I'm saying that once they become 18, I'm not letting a kid 15, 16 years old just make the decision that they're going to stay with their uh, non-related family. I will fight for my kid, like I said, until they're 18 or whatever. And if they decide that that's what they want to do, then like I said, I would try to be compromising and saying, why don't we try to stay in touch? But if they absolutely want to have nothing to do with me, once they're 18, they have my blessings.
Okay, so you're okay, and I'm take this for how I'm saying it. It may not come out right, okay? So you want to compromise when they turn 18, because then they can make the decision to go, but you weren't very compromising while you're pretty much forcing them to stay with you. And again, I throw in this word happiness. They're unhappy, whatever. So you're compromising when they turn 18 and say, "Well, you want to go, but can we still have lunch?"
I'm compromising because I know in a legal sense, there's nothing I can do once they become 18. It's like a kid. It's like a kid is in high school, and they're in your home. They have to go to school. Period. They have to go to school. If they're under 18, you have to do homeschool. You have to go to someone's school. Now, once you turn 18 legally, I can't do much legally once they become 18. It's out of my hands, is what I'm saying. I'm not giving up, because I'm saying that if they decide they want to go to the military at 18, they have that right to do it. I can't stop them.
And
So
but I guess where we're disagreeing on is where I'm willing to say this child is so, I mean, we find out at, he or she, they're 15 years old, and it's only 3 years until they're 18, and we go through the courts, and this child comes home with me, and even when you're fighting through the court system, they want to stay with I mean, they've come over, they visited you, they've seen your house, they have other brothers and sisters that they've met, the aunts, uncles, whatever. They do not want you come, and the courts say you have to go, and that child is just woefully unhappy. And I also, say, you know um if you have, well, no, I don't want to say that, because that's getting off topic. But you, again, and you go to a counselor. You are in counseling, and the counselor is saying this child is not. They're just not. They just you know they're just not. It's just not working out.
Yeah, listen. Like at the end of the day, yeah, like when you look at like however old they are to like leave school, when I was a certain age, like I finished school at 16 and I had college and I got chucked out of my house, you know, and I don't want to go too deep because that's another show. But at the end of the day, like, you live and learn. Like, when you're living in a house that's shit, like you do grow out of it. Like, you kind of know what you want in life, and like, you as 18, or you've got 18-year-olds that you say that are guardian, that you or parent, that you can't do anything. You can do everything. Of course, you can do anything and everything. But I will tell you this: before that, not after. So it's 16 for us, so 18 for you. So you actually got more time than us. But 16, before 16, they are under our care, yes. And it's up to us to guide them. It's simple as that. And if we do not do it, you know what happens. And even I'll say it. If my kids right now turn around and say that they're not going to go to college and they're going to sit on their arse and do nothing, what do you think I'm going to say to them? Do you
But
think
that's
I'm going
not
to
what.
sit there?
I mean, no,
No,
and
but genuinely, no, but that's the point of like, this is the whole point of movement and pressure and happiness. It's like you've got to push people in order to make them people.
but you're
You
not. But
can't
you're
sit there.
okay. But
It's
and
the
I
same thing.
understand that, Caps. But you're talking about a unique situation. You're
It's
talking
not a
about a
unique.
unique.
That's general. Yeah, everyone, once they get to a
No, I
certain
mean
age,
everyone doesn't
you
get
know you
get get
have to
switched at,
do
at
something.
birth. No, I mean everyone doesn't
Don't
get
matter.
raised with a different family. I'm talking about a unique situation. That's
Once you
I'm
get
not.
past an age, you know you've got a brain and you're able to, your compass mentis. No matter what you've been through, everyone needs to learn. You need to understand that you get through a point where you fucking fucked it. You've had a shit life. I understand. I've had a shit life. I ain't even gonna go. I'll make a show about. I'll talk to you on an email about it. Like I've had such a life that you probably wouldn't have never thought. You wouldn't think I had a life. This is the
But
thing. Everyone's different, but the thing is that people have to grow, and you have to learn that shit happens, and you've got to you've got to
I
progress,
under
you've got to move.
Caps.
But I'm going to
I
shut up. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
okay, guys. Let me throw this out there. You're an adult. Your parents want you to marry this particular person. You want to marry this other person, the person you're in love with. Now we talked about, our parents choosing our mates, whatever. Um, and you bow down to your family and you say, okay, I'm going to marry this man. I'm going to marry this woman. All right. This person may really love me, but I don't like him. And the more and more I'm with this person, I don't like her or I don't like him. I am miserable. So, do you, the person who really loves this person who never wanted to marry you, do say, well, live and learn, or are you going to remain with someone who they don't like you? They don't,
It's not realistic. That's not realistic
well,
to me.
but okay, but it's also not real. I'm trying to find some, I mean, I'm just saying that if you are switched at birth, that is a
It
unique
doesn't
situation.
matter. Whatever
If
you've
you
been
find
born
out,
with for 15 years, you have
but
got that
even
in concrete. So it doesn't matter. You are the person you are.
you
Whoever
are the
comes
person
into
you
your
are,
life
but when
after
you're,
15
but
years,
if you
then
are
they can try and introduce
can
their movement, but they will never change you as a person, because
but
after 15 years, you're fucked if you want to try and influence someone at over 15. You must be
I
mental.
I am just saying that if someone is 15 years old in a unique situation where they are being removed from a family that they were growing up with, that they love, that they, and that family loves them, to a situation where they've gone through court battles, whatever, and now they're living with you. You're a nice person, but they're not happy with you. So now I'm literally, because the court says I have to be with my biological parent,
My
and
brother's
I'm
going through it right now. I'm not going to go any deeper, but I can't because I'm not allowed.
okay.
But my
All right.
brother's going through it right now, and I understand exactly what you say. He's got an envelope, he had an envelope, and he had a thing. Yeah, I will go a little bit, and he had a thing saying this is that, and he had his kids. She had them for like after about a year. She had them. She was having him over, and then one day, like they moaned about some scenario that happened in the house, and they obviously got moaned at, and she's like, "I'm not going to let you back over there." And then, even though he had that piece of paper, it didn't mean shit. she could still take them kids, and she had them ever since. How fair is that? And he got
It
from
isn't.
court of law. He got told that he's got the kids, and then
Well,
when
I mean,
she just give a disagreement, when no, but listen, when she give a disagreement, she literally got, she got mixed up. Like it's sad and so a shame. Like women have got power, man, with the law system. I'll tell you that now. Like
well, that's
seriously,
okay.
man.
Hold on, because
That's
that's
another
another
topic.
show. We were we that is that is another show. So okay, let me and shyly again, like I just put in there, I was trying to make an analogy and I failed, but I know what I mean. So and y'all know what I mean. We just did disagree. So let me ask this. Um, if and I'm changing it up, but I'm still keeping with I'm turning it into a
Go on,
secret
go
now.
for it, go for it. Come on.
Okay. So what if you knew that a neighbor who you grew up with, or maybe you didn't grow up with them, you just knew that this neighbor kid or whatever, that their parent or parents were not their parent. Would you tell that person or would you just keep your mouth shut?
Let me answer first.
Go ahead, Caps. Go ahead.
All right. No, no, thank you. And look at me. Let me answer first, please, 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 please. Nah, I love you, man. I love you. You're brilliant. Well, at the end of the day, like shit is the way it is, and you should always let the people do that, not you. Like I know a lot of things. Like I've known a lot of things. You could even move this to anyone. Like you can move it to a friend. You can move it to, but sometimes you can hurt people, can't you? Telling them some stuff. But if it was an adult, I know I'm digressing. I'm sorry, but if it was an adult, it'd be different. But as a child and as a parent, I believe that it's completely. They know that they should tell the person in the end. Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay. All right. Chat lady, you want to pop in or?
What was I'm not really sure. You had asked a question. Um,
I'm changing it up now
okay.
to a secret. So what if your neighbor child or whomever, you knew that their parents were not their parents? Would you tell them? And even if let's say they were your friend and you grew up with this person, but you knew that these parents were not their parents. I mean, they were good parents, to this particular person, but this person always said, I just have a feeling, or no one looks like me, and um and they were adopted or whatever. Do you tell them?
No.
Okay, would you tell them if again you are their friend, you grew up with them, you've known each other for a long time, it's your deathbed, your deathbed, is that something you say on your deathbed, or you just keep it a secret knowing how much all these years this person really wanted to know?
If I was compelled on my deathbed, I'd tell them. If I felt compelled, um, to tell it. That reminds me of an actual show that I saw, this crime situation where a priest actually murdered a parishioner, and the priest confessed to another priest that he did it. And so the priest that the confession was made to told on his dying bed, he knew he had cancer. So he told on, because he knew he was going to die, that he had a conscience. And so he contacted the government, the FBI, and told them what he had, and eventually that priest who committed the crime was arrested. But if it's something that you're compelled to do, especially by God, I most definitely would do it. But I do know a situation where in real life, I have a friend who had an extramarital affair, and it produced two kids, and the kids look nothing like the father, or the man that she was married to. And my kids knew that. They went back and told the two kids that wasn't their dad. and they didn't care. The other kids didn't care. They loved that man regardless. They didn't care. But
Okay.
that happened in real life.
So, would you tell that secret if it was a medical situation?
Yeah, if it was a life or death situation, yeah, I would tell it. Yep, I would.
Okay. Okay. Even though the other family or whatever, they were not saying anything.
Yeah, if it was depending on someone's life to know, I would tell.
Okay. Now, Petty Deb says if they ask, I will tell them, but I am not going to volunteer any
Yeah,
information.
I'm the same. Like I've said this to my missus before, and I've said it to a lot of people. Like sometimes you don't want to start drama, so like if you ask the right questions, you'll get the right fucking answers. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to lie to you. But if you don't ask the right questions, then don't blame me for not telling you the answers. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Okay. Do you think that there's any reason that you should ever withhold the biological parentage from anyone? I mean, I'm not saying you
It
all,
depends if it's a crackhead who's a dirty little fiend that you don't really want your child thinking like, oh, your mum was a dirty little pinhead that was like fucking jacking up on the streets at the age of this and tell the story of how shit her mum was. Wouldn't you prefer it to be like, oh, your mum died and yeah, it's a shame and what story would you want to listen to
No, I
as
mean,
sad as
I
it
mean,
sounds?
I would not want to hear that, my mom was a crackhead or my, dad, did drugs or something like that. No, but I'm just thinking,
No, I've got family who are
um,
fucked up, like Petty Deb
right.
probably
I mean,
has.
right. I mean, you
Like,
don't. I
I've
mean,
got
right. I don't
family
want
who
to.
are fucked up, and I won't allow that fucking certain fucked up family around my children
I mean, I
because
don't want to
I'm
know
not
that.
having it simple. So, this is the difference. Everyone, different strokes, different folks.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't want to know that my father was a serial killer
I
or
couldn't give a
anything like
fuck who
that.
my
But
father is,
I'm
but as long as I ain't fucking acting like a fool, then that's all good.
but again, I come down to would all that go out the window if it was a medical thing?
Medical, it is in what respect?
Well, I mean, meaning that you know where this crackhead lives, but this your child or whomever, if they were adopted, whatever, they have a medical issue, and you know
Medical as in their own issue was medically because they're a dirty crackhead. Well,
no, I mean, I know, I'm saying, no, they have a medical issue. Say they have kidney
oh, okay.
failure or something, or they,
Well, then
they
that's a
have
problem.
some
That's a
blood thing or
massive,
something like that.
massive
So
red flag. That's a massive red flag.
okay,
That is where you've got
and
to
it's a red
help them.
flag
You've got to
because
help them due to the fact that if they're mentally unstable, then if you know that your child or anyone who's mentally unstable and they're close to you, then if you don't do anything, I think you're an absolute fool. But if you're a drug induced psychosis motherfucker, then it's completely different. So if you cause your own demise, then that's a completely different story. But if you're a child and you get put in a situation that you can't handle, then again, like we should help that person. But if you get help and help and help and you carry on and on and on and you still revert back to the same shit and you be a dirty little person and you don't help the society, even yourself, never mind society, then I suppose that you should let them people just dive into the group, into the fucking
okay.
bullshit.
So Deb says nope, a crackhead isn't going to do anything for you. So um let me ask this, and I know I'm asking these questions that may seem far
No, I
flung,
love the
whatever,
questions. It's
but
brilliant.
but what if this child that you are raising, um they you've been telling them this story about their mother father died when their mother father probably living two blocks away, but they're not one of the nicest people, whatever. and they get to the point where they're 18 years old
And they realise that they're
and
not dead.
they need their birth certificate, and they find out, they get their birth certificate and they start doing some research, whatever, and they find out that you lied to them, and you say, well, I wanted to protect you, whatever, whatever, but they're like, but I wanted to know who my parent was, and they find out that their mother's a crackhead, whatever, but they still want to meet this person. I mean, are you still going to try to
No,
deny
you can
them?
fuck right off. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd
Okay,
go. She's an
all right.
absolute degenerate. She's an absolute degenerate. And if you want to meet him, I would give him the option, though. I would definitely give him the option. I'd go, your mum is this. Look, I'm not saying she's a horrible person, but I'd say that you are, this is your mum, and this is where she is, or your dad, or whoever it is. You can't just say your mum, you could say your dad either. It goes both ways. And or your lesbian mum, so it could be your lesbian mum, or your gay dad, could be a bumper guy, it could be a gay dad. But either way, no, but either way. So the point being is that, like, so what does it matter? We know, no, but we know to tell them the truth. We know to tell them the truth that your mom is a dirty little crack fiend and she ain't gonna help you nowhere near. She can't help herself. How the fuck is she meant to help a child, or even an adult,
Okay,
when she
but
can't help herself?
now,
No,
okay,
sorry, that's all I've got to say.
okay, but we're okay. So I'm a answer you, Captain. I want to read
Yeah, no
what
problem, no
Petty Deb
problem.
said. So she says, okay, so she said, no, crackhead, it isn't going to do anything for you. But then, Deb, you said you should not have lied in the beginning. So whether or not my biological parent is a crackhead, a serial killer, whatever, it's up to me on how I want to deal with that. It's not, now that I'm over 18 years old, you all, you can advise
Just
me,
because it don't matter how
but
old you are.
but
Don't matter how old you are. If you're a stupid twat, even if you're 40, you act like a stupid twat and you ain't got a job. Just because you're 40, does that mean, oh, you're
I'm
allowed? It's like,
I'm
no. No, do
okay,
you know where I'm
Caps.
coming from?
Caps, I
Come on, man.
understand. Caps, I understand what you're saying, and Petty Dad says lesbians need love too.
Yeah,
Um, you
I'm
know,
not gonna lie, I am a lesbian. Yeah. No. Mm.
all right, so who y'all
Nah, I'm
made
only
me
joking. Oh, you know
work
what?
today.
Solid. You're brilliant, man. You know what? Your shows are
Oh,
amazing, and I'm sorry. I'm so shocked you put up with me,
no,
and I love you
Caps,
for it.
Caps. It is fine. No problem, shy lady, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Petty Deb says secrets multiply. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So, how many secrets are you guys willing to keep?
You know what? I ain't got many secrets.
No, wait, hold, Caps. Let me finish. How many secrets are you guys willing to keep in order to quote unquote protect the one you love? And in the end, are you actually hurting them when those secrets come out? Because eventually, it may take a long time, but eventually those secrets are going to come out. So how
No,
much
but you
are
know
you
what? You
willing?
know
How
what?
many?
Let me just say, they will never come out if you've got the most loyalist person next to you.
Only way a secret's not going to come out is if you're the only person who knows the secret.
Yeah, and the
If
only
you tell
reason
one
you'd
person.
no, but I know what you mean. But the only reason you tell one person is that you trust them that much, and then the only one person would ultimately, genuinely, will keep that to the day they die. And I'm that type of person anyway. So yeah, I'm just saying through my own movement.
Okay, all right. And Petty Deb says secrets hold you hostage. They do. Some of them do.
I've got no
Some of
secrets.
them
I've
do.
got no secret.
So, but again, how many of you are willing to how many of you are willing to keep a secret because you're trying to protect someone that you love?
Mm.
or someone that you care about,
You
you
can't
know?
protect them. You gotta, like, truth will out. That's the way it goes. Truth will out. You can't do that. You have to be honest because honesty is the best policy. It's quite
Okay.
simple.
All right. And you know, the show's been going on for over an hour, and I just wanted to
Sorry,
say
I do
welcome,
apologise as well,
Miss
Solid. I
Kimberly.
do apologise.
Miss Kimberly, I want to say welcome, Miss Kimberly. She is over on YouTube. So, well, y'all, that is all I have. This was a lively situation. I am glad
I'm
I am in
glad.
the
I'm
situation where
glad.
I do not have a child that was switched at birth. My child is my child, you know, whatever. But I stick to my guns. If that child was 15, you know, years
Well,
old,
Solid
16,
Blue,
whatever.
he told me, to be honest with you, he got in touch with me earlier and he said he wish he was switched at birth. I'm only joking. I love you so much. I've got so much respect for you. I know I'm trying to
Oh,
make you
Caps,
giggle.
I'm so looking forward to. I'm so looking forward to this show that we are going to do,
Like
y'all. So
I
you all
love you
know,
so much.
Caps.
Well,
Hold on, yes, zip it for a moment.
well,
For
sorry.
you guys who were not here yesterday, Caps has agreed to do friendly differences with me and Ba and Chill, and we'll probably invite some more people on. But uh, I'm looking forward to the show. It will be on video. And I'm just so looking forward to the show. Ba is traveling right now, so he's kind of out of pocket. But yeah, I am looking forward to this show because Caps, yeah.
No, definitely I am too.
Oh
Like
boy.
what I love is I've shaved my beard off as well, so I'm gonna look young as fuck to you. So my voice ain't gonna match my face. Where if I had my beard, you'd be different. But yeah, but like I say to everyone, live and love and love and live, and let people be and don't get too hard on people. Have constructive criticism is the best form of movement. If you can't help people, then you'll never go anywhere in life. So we can all be idiots, we can all be fucking sausages, we can all be anything. But we can all fucking lose, like you said about children and stuff, like about your show, what you was on about, and it's scary. But what really matters is that you're strong enough to be aware. Awareness and knowing is amazing. It's like being fat and knowing that you got to go to the gym. You know what I mean? It's like if you never went to the gym, you know that you're always going to be fat. You know what I mean? You become complacent, and in life, like every subject, you can't never become complacent. So yeah,
Well,
I applaud you, Solid Blue Sister,
well,
because you're
thank
an
you, thank you.
amazing host, and we'll get some topics, yeah. And I'll stick to topic. I promise you. If we do
Okay,
it, I'll stick to
you
promise. I
okay,
promise you.
you have to stick the
I
topic, and
promise you.
you
I
can't
promise you.
wander, and you have to sit still in one
Yep.
place, and
Yep.
you have to be in a quiet place.
I'll
So,
try my best.
all
I
right.
got about
Oh,
300 kids in the background, but yeah, I'll try my
all right. So,
best.
everyone,
Enough
thank
love.
you very
Thank
much for
you. Thank
showing
you.
up today. I will have a show tomorrow, unlike last week. I apologize. I was traveling, but I will have a show next week. I'm sorry, tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon, I will have one. So, again, thank you guys for coming, and I appreciate it. And let's see, Frankie, thank you very much for the super chat. So, on that note, Caps, Shy Lady, thank you guys for being on the panel, and everyone who liked the show. I hope to see you tomorrow. Until next time, go where the wind takes you. Bye. So, Dawes Tullian, Mr. T, Caps, Power Girl, Ninja Bunny, Brina, Frankie, Shy Lady Crucible. Heiko was here earlier. Thank all of you guys. Alpha Mike, Bart. Thank you all. And Kimberly and everyone else who was listening on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you very much. Tron Cat, thank you. Yeah, Frankie, these shows, they do get deep sometimes. Oh boy. Did I go into the chat? I think we covered everything. Yeah, I think we covered everything in the chat. Okay, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.